butchered it, both of you. I said, bruh, I got robbed, I got stabbed, literally cleaned off my clothes, I got knuckle dusted. They'll wonder, how are you able to do drilling and marching, with a disability?
Hello and welcome back to More Than Drill and Drum.
The podcast where we talk about
Drill, drum and more. I'm Tyrese.
And I'm Janima, and today we are joined by a very special drill guest.
So sit back, relax and enjoy this podcast. Hello, Jabiba.
Hello, Tyrese.
This is the fact that I have to gather myself because our guest is just making us laugh.
I'm
right
telling you, and the episode's not really even started.
Drill, drum, comedian. What? How have you been?
I've been good, thank you. And how about you?
I've been alright. I'm excited to be here and chat with you because I think these last couple episodes it's been me in the hot seat, you in the hot seat, and now the dynamic duo is back.
We're back, and we have a wonderful third person with us in the studio today. A very warm welcome to the one and only Mancini.
Yeah, boy. This is more than drill and drum. More than, listen, I want to be part of that gang. Yeah. Come on now,
This is what the kids call second-hand embarrassment.
I don't even know what to say. It looks like Mancini's coming from my job, to be honest.
Yes, absolutely. Saw you at the camp meeting. I was like, I want some of that.
Oh.
Yes, that's right. No, you did a brilliant job.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hello, Mancini.
Hello.
How are you doing
Tyrese. Hello, Jamima. I always butcher Jamima's name.
You do.
We had a have a conversation one time on the phone.
Out.
Yes, where she schooled me on how to say a name properly. In my head, I kept calling it a different name.
Jemima. I've heard that one a couple of times from you.
Keep you on the low down.
I feel that he purposely
I've got a
thing is,
backer, man.
if you say it, it might stick again. So I've been trying not to say it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jemima.
Jemima.
But Tyrese,
Yeah, my name.
Yeah.
But you spell it wrong,
I know how
though.
to spell that name.
Okay. So I'm at my big Master Guide investment, investiture, and so excited. You asked me to send a picture of my face. I sent it.
I mean,
Whole
you were
selfie.
late. You were late with it, but nonetheless, yes.
It still got there. But
It got there.
I get there, Mancini calls out my name, and I see it on the screen, and it says Teresi. That's how it came out to me. Because my name, remember the first couple episodes, it's TYREESE.
No, you spelled it actually. You did.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think the good thing is that we caught it before it went into the public domain.
Okay.
We were looking at it on the tablet, and going through the names, and that's when you spotted it. And
That's
you're
when
like,
I spotted it. I'm so glad you said that. That's when I spotted it. Oh, no.
you know what? I think I'm just digging myself into it, Go dig a hole, let me put Mancini. But so we spotted it, I mean, we praise the Lord that he blessed you with that vision to be able to see it before it went out to the public.
Amen. Question mark?
Absolutely.
The question.
It would have been such an embarrassing
would have
moment,
been.
not for you, but for us as organizers of the,
You've
investiture
nurtured
as
me
well.
for these past 2 years.
Yes, we did. Maybe it was me getting back at you for being late with your photograph, but we're not going to get there. It's all right. But I will publicly say I apologize, Tyrese, for getting your name wrong. I did subcontract some of that service to somebody else, but I will take the blame for it. I will take the blame for it. I'm not gonna silky shirt, outfit and stuff like that. I'll take the blame. But we managed to fix it.
Yeah.
Beforehand. And man, I mean, that's skillage, that, what I mean?
He's just trying to hype me up now to go like, But Master Guide now, I'm proud.
Yeah.
Well done.
And thank you for helping me through that development, man.
Congratulations,
But
bro.
on the topic of names, I say your name incorrectly.
I was just about to go there.
Everybody does.
And I'm going to make a
Everybody
public
does.
service announcement that we apologize
Okay.
for
I'll
just
take that.
misusing your name.
Yeah.
So can we just, for the record,
Sure.
get
Can
clarity
I try
in this
before?
moment?
You want to try before? I'll tell you. Okay.
Manini.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Nhini.
butchered it, both of you. Annihilated it.
We're
killed
going to cut
it.
this bit out.
Okay.
No, keep it in. You know, the name is actually pronounced Mgcini.
Oh, it was the wrong tongue.
No, there is no man. Ni.
Oh, is it is here?
Okay.
All right, say one of you have been naughty. Yeah? How to do your... Just do one of those.
Oh.
You got it. And then it's knee.
Knee.
The knee, eh?
Knee.
Knee. Knee.
Knee.
Knee.
But I feel like I'd have to like see you on a regular basis and say your name over and over.
Yeah. Or call me on a regular basis. Yeah.
Knee.
That's not bad, that.
Okay.
I'll take that.
Not butchered.
Yeah, it's
Better.
better than what you did before.
So say we
Definitely.
were walking and I said knee. Oh no. Knee. You
Yes,
do a little.
I will look.
Okay.
I will look. Yeah. If you come and say my nini, I'll be like, boy, somebody else behind me being spoken about kind of thing. You know. So yeah.
So where does that name come from?
It's a Ndebele name from the motherland in Zimbabwe. Big up Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Repping you. Yeah.
Just have that effect.
Yeah, so I was born in the beautiful country of Zimbabwe before it became an independent state, you know.
Okay.
So I can claim that I was born before independence, you know.
How long ago?
You want me to say how? Don't worry, I don't mind sharing my age. I was born in the beginning of 1980, so in February before the Independence Day.
1980.
Correct.
Okay. I was 1918. I was like, what?
Right. That would have been World War One. Then I saw World War Two. You know, and yeah.
Okay.
I'm not leaving them biblical ages. You know. Yeah. So, so that's where I was born, and I was bred, grew up there, and then I moved to the land of the milk and honey that they call the United Kingdom of Great Britain. You know, where just flowing with gold. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I came here in 1997, and boy,
Yeah.
it's a lie.
The older people that I know, they were pranked too.
Yeah.
And they're still here.
Straight up, man. Straight up. But we're still here, you know. So don't get me wrong, you know, I am blessed to be where I am. I'm not being ungrateful. But yeah, you know, I think there's an element of overselling that went with this place because I've had the pleasure of visiting other countries and you know, but I've put my roots in here now. It's, and
They've got you.
Man's got married, you know, over here. Got hey babes, I see
knew
you.
he was gonna
I
do a
see
shout
you.
out.
Yeah. Shout out to my wife, yeah. Not getting signs. No. I'm just appreciating my wife, you know. Yes, babes.
Wait, can we have a moment of your time?
We've just partnered with Brickcore to bring you the best drum pad we've ever used.
It's portable.
It's durable and it's even tunable.
Just listen to how it sounds.
To get your hands on one of these,
Use the code
OMTDD
OMTDD.
at the website below.
Check it out.
You said you're settled now.
Yes.
What do you do?
All right. I work in IT, you know, which is different to what I studied. Just like I said, when I came to the UK, I came to study A-levels back in London.
Oh, you're a Londoner.
Yeah, I was a Londoner for about 5 years, you know.
Hey.
Yeah. And then, how can I put it? London was an experience, you know. I got robbed. I got stabbed.
Oh,
I
really?
got literally cleaned off my clothes one time down in the alleyway. I got knuckle dusted, you know. Yeah.
Why am I only hearing this?
Bro, that's, I think that's another episode for that, you know. But yeah, until I was like, yeah, maybe London is not for me, you know.
Maybe it's not it.
So I applied for universities in Manchester and I think Scotland as well. You know, I was trying to get away from London as possible. Came to Manchester and initially my first application was to study chemistry.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I hated chemistry at school. Why I applied for it?
Oh,
I
degree.
blame those teachers. You know when you're going through those career sessions with and they're like, oh yeah, what do you want to do at uni? And you're like, I don't know, you know. And they're like, oh yeah, I think you should choose something closer to what you're studying. And I studied chemistry then.
Okay.
Yeah, apply for chemistry here, apply for chemistry, and I just did it. You know, but don't get me wrong. You know, initially I wanted to do medicine. That was my aim, and I applied to those. But you know, when you have like an extra space that you just have to apply something, you know, you're like, oh, okay, I've applied to all the ones I want to apply for. Where do I apply? So I applied for chemistry, and this the first one I got an interview for.
Okay.
So I came to Manchester, and I remember getting off Manchester Piccadilly. It looked like a dump back then. Not the Piccadilly you know now.
Okay.
You know, it was like, seriously, it was the industrial ages or whatever. Black suit and everything. Then buildings looked dilapidated and everything. It looked like a right mess. But I came to Manchester and I remember getting off the bus. I'm in the train and I got onto the bus and I was the first person on the bus.
Okay.
And I sat down. You know, you choose your seat, right?
Exactly.
And
Great.
I chose a seat that was near the entrance because I wanted to see where I was going.
Okay.
You know, it's not about getting lost in Manchester. You know, next thing I know, this Mancini, well, that's why people call me Mancini. This guy has gone AWOL, disappeared in Manchester. No one knows where he's gone.
I don't know whether to laugh or not.
You can laugh. Okay. You know, you can laugh. So I sat down, and then this lady followed me, and she came and sat down, you know, next to me. I said, "Bruh, there's a whole bus behind you."
Because I was wondering, why have
Literally.
you said followed, but the fact that she's sat next to you.
Yes, bro.
Okay.
But you're
So
so how could you?
I was there first, yeah. So I had whole seats to choose. I chose that one, and then this woman came behind me, and she's got a whole heap of choice. All seats are not taken other than that one I'm sitting in, and she sits next to me. I was like, bro, come on, man. You know, listen. In London, you become used to like you do not speak to anybody unless you know them, unless you want something from them. You do not engage.
Just
or
get on with
interact.
what you need to do.
Exactly. You know, put your earphones on, pretend like you're busy, but you're not. You know, you're just crying inside. I'm going to work. It's going to be a horrible day and stuff. But nonetheless, sit down, and then so I'm like, you know what, yeah, whatever. And then she goes, oh, hello, love. I was like,
What do you want?
no, first of all, I was like, surely she ain't talking to me, bro.
When you're the
You
only
know.
other person
I
on
was
the
the
bus.
only person on the bus. So I was like, so I'm looking around like, is there anyone else in here? And there was no one else. So I'm like, oh, she must be talking to me. So I answered. I said, oh, hello. And then, man, I opened the box.
Oh, yeah.
Or a doorway.
Yeah.
She
It wasn't gonna get
started
closed.
chatting left, right, and center. Obviously, the bus started moving, and I was like, "Man, this woman, she doesn't know me, but she's talking to me like as if I'm a brethren or something." But nonetheless, for me, that impression was, you know, we talk about first impressions count.
Yeah.
It left an impression with me that, you know what, people are nice up north,
Okay.
you know? That's not bad, you know?
Yeah.
Even though you were
take
burning
away from
inside.
the stabbings and the knuckle duster that I've been used to. I was like, this is lovely. So that was my first impression of Manchester. And I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to come up to Manchester. And that's how I came to Manchester.
Oh, okay.
And I went to Manchester not to study chemistry. I went to study human anatomy.
Okay.
So I studied human anatomy. I was dissecting bodies every week. Yeah, it was an experience, you know. Formaldehyde is a very strong
That's some
liquid.
serious stuff.
Yes, yes.
Learned that in chemistry.
Yes.
Come on now.
You know. And then I did that for 3 years. But roll back. Before I came to Manchester, I'd undergone surgery on my leg.
Okay.
So when I was growing up, my left leg had become bent,
Okay.
twisted, and was also shorter by about 7 centimeters. 7, you know, that's about 3 inches. So they did this operation to try and lengthen my left leg.
Yeah.
So I had this big Elizabeth frame around it. It's almost like a scaffolding. And every day you have to turn these nuts, and it's the most painful thing ever. Some people do it to gain extra height.
I was thinking it sounds
I'm
quite
like,
similar to that.
Yeah, you know, back in the day when airlines used to have a minimum height requirement, I don't know, maybe they still do.
Really?
But, you know, airlines had a minimum requirement that you needed to be a certain height, I think, to reach the bins, you know, at the top and things like that. And when people wanted to gain that extra height, they'll undergo the surgery. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. I don't know why people do it. And I had that done. And literally, this thing, you got these high tension cables that go through your leg, through your bone. And every day you're twisting this thing. And what it's doing is pulling the bones apart. And while it's doing that, it's ripping through your flesh, your muscles.
I think we need if you're squeamish or something, please just skip past this bit.
So skip this bit. Yeah, but it's the most painful thing. I
can imagine.
Seriously painful. So I had that in, gosh, when was it? 1999, yeah.
Okay.
And when I came to Manchester, I still had it because it was just taking time to heal and stuff like that. And I did my whole BSc with this big frame on my leg. I couldn't weight bear on it, so I was on crutches. But you know, crutches these days, they were like plain and grey and whatnot. But not in these crutches, fam.
Of course not.
I went to the hardware store and I bought the spray paints, bought the yellow one, the pink one, the red one, the blue one, you name it. Every month I was changing the color of those crutches.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not.
You gotta make them interesting, you know.
Okay.
So when I graduated in my human anatomy, the colors of the schools were pink. So I had to spray them crutches pink, and I had the cornrows as well. You know?
Did you,
bro? I was a bad man, them, you know. Cornrows.
Whoa.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, back then, I'd known my now wife, but we were like just friends, you know. She put me in the friend zone, you know.
Them ones there.
Shout out
Terrible.
wifey.
You know what I mean?
No. You know, I don't know why you did that because, you know, but anyway, maybe
time was not yet.
The time was not yet.
It was not the appointed time.
Jameen, I like that. But anyway, encouragement for all the men out there that are trying to get out of the friend zone. It is possible. I'm a testament of it. You can do it. Yes. So, yeah. If you want some advice.
The thing is, he's being
reach-
so genuine
I
about
am being
it.
genuine. I came out of the friend zone and took a few years, 19 years, but we got there, you know. Yeah, so perseverance, that's a lesson that you can learn from today. But yeah, so my wife used to plait my hair,
No way.
Okay.
Yeah.
telling you. Yeah, back then.
Whoa.
So then I finished my BSc and then I started doing medicine. Did medicine for almost 3 years, but it wasn't for me. And also I was struggling physically with my leg as well during the clinical years, up and down, the wards, theaters, coming to hospitals. Yeah, somebody says, oh, what about wheelchair? I just didn't want to sit in a wheelchair. The reason is, I realized that some people, they get into a wheelchair and then they get comfortable in that wheelchair and that becomes their life for the rest of their life. I wanted to be able to continue to be able to walk with my own feet.
Yeah.
So that's why I continue to be on crutches and whatnot, that time. Anyway. So anyway, after I dropped medicine, and then I went into IT, which is what I do now. To go back to your original question, I do IT as a job. Took a bit long to get there, but yes, that's the answer for all. Basically, I deal with cloud. So I work for a company that manages cloud environments for customers, and anything Azure, got you covered.
Thank you for that background, man. It's nice to get to know a person a lot more than interaction. So
That's it.
cool history that you have.
No,
Yes.
for real. Because
Yeah.
like we've actually known each other for some time,
Correct.
and we did not know that was the pathway that you took at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's a very how can I put it? Simplified pathway. I mean, I could go back, to when I had the original injury, which is when I was 2. I fell off a wall. So when children ask me now, they say, "Oh, what happened to your leg?" I say, "I fell off a wall, like Humpty Dumpty."
Oh gosh.
Me and my brother, we were playing. I was 2, he was 5. We were playing on a wall, and I lost my footing, fell on the other side. Bosh. You know what? Humpty Dumpty did. Fell off a wall. And that's I mashed up my leg. I got infection of the bone. I was in hospital for 2 years. Didn't come out until I was 4.
Wow.
Yeah. And during that time, boy, I had adventures in the hospital.
You remember it with
Yeah, I do.
Really?
So I remember the children's ward that I was in. It had this big metal gate. It had normal doors. Then outside the doors, they had a gate that will try and stop the youngins, escaping and stuff. But you see, the trouble is, the gate didn't go all the way to the ceiling. And
there's a flaw in the system.
So there's a bunch of us, all these pediatric children climbing. Oh, we were very clever. I have to say, children are absolutely clever. We would wait until, we've had our medication and whatnot is done, because once you've received your medication, the nurses, they bounce off. I don't know where they go, but they bounce, probably for a little siesta or something, Yeah, I'm sorry, nurses. I'm not saying that's what you do, but the ones that
This is what you thought as a child.
as a child. Yeah. I know they got an important job to do. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So once they're gone, we will then go, because they thought the gate is locked. No child is going to escape. But we would open the door, and then we'll go to the gate, and we'll actually climb that gate. And that thing was high, fam. And you're there climbing it with your mash up leg, because you're in there for a
That's
reason.
what I'm thinking.
You're not there on holiday.
Visualize.
So my leg was like on a plaster cast and whatnot for the whole 2 years that I was there. So imagine me, I'm there scurrying up these gates to get to the top, and then you go over, come down, and then you start roaming the hospital like your granddaddy owned it, And like you'll see all these people, you meet all these doctors and whatnot.
They don't say anything.
They don't say anything. They can't be bothered. They're like,
It's outrageous. Like,
yeah. Because you're like, you came to see me this morning, and all that stuff. But we get around, but then you'll get the job's worth one and be like, all right, come kids, go back to your ward. And then you get, bust back to your ward and all that stuff.
You've
and
been
then
resilient for a
tomorrow,
long time.
you plan the same thing again, Yeah. You get your crew, right, guys, we're going to try this tomorrow, yeah? It's just fun, But, I mean, children have, the way they deal with illness is much different to how as adults we deal with children. I mean, with illness.
For me, I'm just hearing that you have been resilient for a long time.
You know what? Yes. Since I was 2, I've had issues of some sort with my leg, But, when I look back to my childhood, it wasn't a childhood of misery and whatnot. Yes, I suffered pain. Don't get me wrong. You know, when I was growing up, you know, you would walk to school, and walking to school wasn't like down the road, you know, to you know, what's the school in Birmingham? You know, Harper Bell. You know, you're not just going down the road a couple of blocks to Harper Bell. You would walk kilometers, you know, to get there, and when I come back from school, my leg will be pain and absolutely agony. And then you'll be there putting heat rub on it or massage or whatnot and stuff like that. And that was just my day-to-day life.
was every day?
Every day, bro.
Wow.
And you get used to it, you know, and you just
It's
deal
just a
with
part
it.
of your routine now,
Exactly,
isn't it?
exactly. But, you know, I think with any illness, with any be it disability or whatever, ultimately it's up here. Yeah. So even though I went through all these operations to try and get the leg, you know, the leg healed and things like that, it reached a stage when it just wasn't going right. We'd taken off the Lizard frame. We were trying to get the leg to heal. All the pin sites where the tension cables used to go through, some of them healed, but some of them didn't. And the ones that didn't heal was because the bone infection had, you know, in effect, come back. You know, it lay dormant there for a while, and all these procedures that, you know, reactivated it. So we're trying all sorts to get it to heal. It wasn't working. I mean, I'll tell you the kind of stuff we tried. We tried muscle graft. So they took some muscle from my back and they grafted it down there. And I'm talking about a whole slab of your back. So
A slab?
A slab. So I used to have my back on my leg.
That is such a
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I used to tell people that, you know, whenever my back was itching, I'll scratch my leg.
Of course you did.
You know, I'm like, oh, my back is itching. Hold on. You know, but all of that procedure was to try and increase blood flow and circulation to the affected area to try and help, you know, with the healing of the infection and whatnot. But it didn't help. Vein grafts, skin grafts, you name it. I had all of that. And so until I reached a decision in 2007, I said, you know what? I've tried all sorts, Lord. And I'm gonna go for the amputation, and that's when I had my amputation of my leg below the knee. Wow. Yeah, and that was the start of a new chapter. No regrets whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know, people ask me, say, "Oh, are you sad about that?" I said, "No." You know, the Lord blessed me with another chapter of life. It meant that I could get rid of my crutches as well.
Okay.
I'm telling you, crutches, I salute anybody that uses crutches. Simple things like, oh, let me pick up that glass and walk with it over there on crutches is not a joke.
No, you're very right.
Exactly.
I've been on crutches just briefly.
There you go.
But
And how was your
Yeah, it's
experience?
difficult. It's
Yeah,
difficult.
yeah.
Like at the time, I think I was in school, so it was like semi-cool.
Yeah.
but
You
then
were
it's
one of the
actually
cool kids in school,
Yeah,
man.
but it's actually not cool when someone else
Yeah.
has to carry your bag.
There you
And
go.
like you want to just do something small, and
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. Yeah. So definitely. So anything that I could do to avoid using crutches for me was a win. So when I had the amputation done, don't get me wrong, you know, that had its own dramas as well. Post amputation, I had been warned before of things called phantom pain.
I've heard of that.
okay.
Yeah.
But maybe for the benefit of our viewers, you could just explain what phantom pain is. Just
It exists. It is real. So what it is think of it. Your limb has been chopped off. However, you get this absolute agonizing pain in your foot. So the pain is in your foot, but the foot is not there anymore. So normally when you have pain on your limb or anywhere, you'd massage it, you rub it, touch it, and things like that to try and help to alleviate that pain. But when that limb is not there. There's nothing physically to
can't do-
touch.
Yeah, yeah,
and,
yeah.
and the body is telling you, or the brain is telling you, the pain is in the foot. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of the most agonizing pain ever. So before my amputation, I was told by the medical professional that some people do experience phantom pain and phantom sensation. So phantom sensation is where you feel like your limb is there. Like for instance, you can feel like you're wriggling your toes.
Yep.
So like right now, I feel like I'm wriggling my toes.
Oh,
Yeah.
even now.
Even now. I'll be like, let me wriggle my toes. Yeah. But there's no toes. My brain is telling me, oh, yeah, your toes are wriggling. Look, but there's nothing there. Yeah. And then the pain is obviously the extra bit of it where that actual area. And this is all due to the nerves, because you've now severed the nerves, the muscles and whatnot. So the nerves that used to go down there, they still exist to your spine and to your brain. And so when you get those nerves innervated or, activated, whatever, the spinal cord then sends a message to the brain, said, oh, yeah, that nerve is from your foot. It's in pain, deal with it. But there's nothing there. And so, I had that for about 6 months after my amputation, like the worst I've ever had, during my amputation. Yes. And to a stage where you be lying in bed, the thing is just so painful and just there lying, crying your eyes out because there's nothing else you can do.
Yeah.
One of the other things that they do try and do is what they call mirror therapy, or where they'll take a mirror and put it between your legs. And then when you look, because it's a reflection of your good leg, if you shake or move your good leg, you think, oh, yeah, the other one is moving. So for some people it works. Sometimes they use things like hypnotherapy as well. I was like, nah, man, my Jesus has got me. No hypnotherapy. No. Yeah, Satan's stairway. Yes. I'll deal with the pain as it is. Yeah. Swallow it, hypnotherapy. Take that nonsense away from me. And but I have to say, the thing that did eventually work for me was anti-epileptic drugs.
Oh.
Because they target the nervous system.
Yeah.
They did the business.
Wow.
But thank the Lord, I don't need to use them on a regular basis. Now and again, you need to use them, but not on a regular basis. And like I said, when I had the amputation, for me, it was next chapter of my life.
Yeah.
Allowed me to be able to then do things that I couldn't do before. When I was young, I couldn't run, for the school team. I couldn't play, football with the big boys. I played football with my boys around the corner, but it was like modified football kind of thing. So, but now I could play things like badminton. So if you're in Manchester, you want to play badminton, let me know.
Love that.
Come and whoop you
Okay.
with one leg.
So then, of all of those things that you
Yeah.
were somewhat enabled to do, I understand that one of those is drill.
Yeah.
Manzini,
Yeah.
I've got a story.
You got a story?
I've been saving the story for the
Amen.
longest time.
Let's hear it, man.
But just
Let's
before
hear
we
it.
get into that,
Yeah.
we also have another important question.
Okay.
Drill or drum?
I mean, I don't even know why you're asking me that, bro.
Because it's drum.
This guy.
Oh, I know, right? It's such a silly... It should have just been drum. All right, let's get on then.
I feel like he had communion wine on the wrong day or something, this guy. What's happened here? Eh? No, bro. Team
Drum.
drill all the way.
Always.
Drill all
It's
the way.
always going to be team drill.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I have no single thing about drumming, bro.
I mean...
You
always
put
filming
out a
us.
video the other day, a few weeks ago, about, an NSC, SSC popular rhythm or something like that. See, I was learning. I was like,
Oh.
there's tenors? And what you call them?
You
Them
got tenors, bass,
them four
cymbals,
ones.
quads.
Yeah. I was like, I thought it was just one big old drum that you just beat, boom, 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 and a beautiful sound comes out of it. Obviously you got the cymbals,
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say, the cymbals in the UK are underrated.
We know this. You saw,
Underutilized, I think.
Okay, underutilized. Yeah.
we need to get into that story to why you say that. But you saw what we saw, right?
We were there.
I went to the International Camporee in Wyoming, and yes,
Talk about it.
yes, preach. I tell you, I'm not a team drum, but I saw how the drum teams there they do their thing. Swagger, fam, swagger, and the cymbals are the stars of the show.
It's true.
I've said that before.
You've been
They are the
saying it.
stars
Yeah.
of the show. And I was like, where are cymbals in the UK, At least, and you see, but yeah. So I think definitely they need that spotlight more on the cymbals. And I don't know, maybe they need to be empowered or something like that.
But with your influence, and there's so many topics that we haven't touched yet. But let's.
So this one is a message to David, drum major.
Okay.
Yeah.
That camera right there, please.
Oh yeah. David, drum major. Listen, you need to do something about the cymbals. I'm not saying you're doing a bad job, but there's always room for improvement with the cymbals, and I think you can make them shine. Yeah. I'll see you around, brother.
Thank you for that, man.
But back to the question on Team Drill or Drum, drill all the way.
Okay.
All the way, fam. All the way. And I think for me, even when I was young, with my leg that was, short and twisted and bent and whatnot, I used to enjoy doing drilling and marching in my Pathfinders. So I grew up doing Pathfinders. Yes, I was limited in what I could do and things like that. But one of the things I did enjoy was drilling and marching. And I did that when I was young. And then when I moved to the land of the milk and honey, that left. And then I picked it up after my amputation. So when I had my amputation, and then I said, Lord, now you've given me an opportunity to live a different life, a fresh life, and do things that I couldn't do before. And so my involvement in pathfinding and things like that absolutely deepened. And that's also gave me the encouragement to do and finish my master guide.
That
Well
is so
done.
wholesome.
And you've been able to pass that down onto
Yeah,
many other generations. Me
So
being
from
one of
there,
them.
I worked with Manchester South Church, with their Pathfinders, and I loved that. And we did many things together. We went camporees together. Finland. I remember we went Finland one time. I was the club director there. And some of the girls, they were causing trouble and going to the boys' tent and whatnot. And it reached a stage where we were like telling them, if you don't behave, you're on the first flight to the UK tomorrow. It got to that stage and we called the parents and everything, But yeah, it gets them in the straight and narrow. They behaved and they were able to stay for the rest of the camporees. But yeah, so local camporees as well. Enjoyed that. I remember going to Italy as well. Yeah.
Oh, the Rome
The Rome
one,
one, where everyone had indigestion there.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, but I heard it was hot.
Yo,
Yeah.
it was hot, it was dry, and everything was just pasta. Pasta this, pasta that. No
Serious?
veg, no
But you're
fruit.
in Italy, though.
Bruh. Give me fiber. And then poor kids were getting absolutely congested. Yeah.
imagine,
So those who went to Italy will remember that time.
Did you go to Holland?
No, I didn't.
But you know about the Holland camp.
I know about the
Okay.
Holland camp.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've asked people, do you know about the Holland camporee? And they're like,
Yeah.
no. What was that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But so, and then from there, I then was asked to join the area coordinating team, which I was glad to serve in Area 2. Big up Area 2. Yes, yes. Best area in the NEC. What? Yes. Best area ever.
Oh, gosh. Comment section, please go crazy if you need to.
Other areas are available.
Yes. At the bottom. Woo! Yeah. I'm just opening myself here for
I'm
like,
telling you.
hey, I bet I'm going to buy that Kevlar top, you know, because those shots are going to be coming.
I really tried to save you.
You know, so yes, I'll be hiding behind you, Joanna, and you, Tyrese. So yeah. I'm all good, you know. Blood of Jesus, protect me. Amen.
Bringing it back though,
Yes,
to my story.
Oh yes, sorry. Go ahead.
So obviously, recently invested in being a Muscat.
Yeah.
And I remember I was at a camp last year. I remember it was dark at this time, and myself and some others who have been guests on this podcast, we were doing a drawdown with the Master Guides, and you were involved.
Mate, I love drill. I love drill.
I could tell.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, I was calling the commands, and I think we were just all being quite strict. I was a bit worried about you, you know.
Well, yeah.
I was, because I
Really?
didn't want to like make you feel uncomfortable, because I didn't have that relationship with you yet. Didn't want to make you feel uncomfortable or anything.
Sure.
And I remember, it made me like go like this. I was like, all right, can everyone like pick up their feet, please?
Yeah.
And I was pointing out to you.
Yeah.
And I realized, I was like, oh, like,
He's got one leg. Which foot, bro?
bad. But Mancini, you came second.
I did.
Out of everyone, and this
Come
wasn't.
on.
And this wasn't like any, because I wasn't picking people to go out.
Yeah,
Other people
yeah.
were. So it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna give you the benefit of the doubt.
That's it.
Mancini, you came second.
I do love my drilling march. Yes, I do. I mean, it's to a point now where, like I said, I mean, just roll back on that. So with me doing area coordinating, one of the things I was also invited to do was to become involved in Master Guide training. So I'm in Master Guide Associate under our leadership of our head honcho, Shirley. Being involved in Master Guide has also allowed me to be able to give back into pathfinding what I couldn't do earlier on in my years and stuff like that. Because for me, pathfinding has been very instrumental into being the person that I am now. It was very important for me when I was growing up. Pathfinders also were very, how can I say, receptive to my disability when I was young. And so that I appreciated it and I learned a lot from it. And so when I had the amputation, I felt the personal drive to give back into pathfinding what he had given to me. Hence my involvement in doing area coordinating and also Master Guide training as well, which I thoroughly love. And so with Master Guide training, you then go through a whole plethora of different classes, and each class is different. Each intake is different.
But my class was the best, right?
You know, I met another Master Guide candidate yesterday who was saying, "Oh, our class was the best, wasn't it?"
Yeah.
And I laugh at this because this is a guy. You know, when we talk about 1 pace forward march, 2 pace forward march, 3 paces forward march, but then you get the backwards march, 1 pace backwards, 2 pace backwards, 3 paces backwards is different.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't.
Why is it different?
So with 3 paces, because you're now walking 3 paces or more, you have to be careful as to where you're backing to.
Okay.
So you don't want to be just backing 3 paces backwards. There's an element of safety in there. So the way you do it, you do an about turn, do your 3 paces forward.
Come on now.
You hold,
Yeah.
do an about turn, and bosh. Yeah? Yeah? Now, this candidate is like, all right, 3 paces backwards. And my guy literally went 3 paces back. And this was during an exam.
Oh.
Oh, we've already been through the classes.
You know,
I've
he's
already
been
done
through
it.
the classes.
Ooh.
My guy is doing 3 paces literally like this backwards.
Oh, but you know, the
And swinging his arms as well.
though.
You know, and the thing is, I think the other people who were in his group doing the exam, I don't know whether they were shook or they just didn't know what to do. And they followed him.
No, follow the leader.
And you know, they always say about if you do something with confidence, even when you're doing it wrong,
But there's,
People
no one
believe
will
you.
doubt you.
Yeah.
there's something.
And that's exactly what happened.
Oh, no.
You know,
It's unfortunate.
it's unfortunate. So, and I think I still got a video of him, you know, somewhere in the archive, you know. So,
But on the flip side,
on the flip side, yeah. So go back to your question. Each class is different. So yours, yes, he was the best in their own way, you know.
You
so,
love that. See, real diplomat.
you know, one day maybe I might be a politician, you know. Yeah. Yeah, so each intake is absolutely different. And you will never get the intake that's the same. The dynamics are different and the types of individuals are different. And I think your intake was blessed with having a lot of young people there, you know, which other intakes they don't have.
we all
things
went on the
like that.
hike together.
See,
That was fun.
Yeah. So those sort of things, you know, they just makes things interesting and slightly different. So yeah. So for me, you know, both of you have been through Master Guide.
Indeed.
Yeah. And straight up. And it fills me with joy to see you both as Master Guides, where, you know, we've been involved in training together and whatnot. And even your previous guests as well, some of them, you know, Amy, Shay, Christabel, you name Mongameli. Yeah. I'm telling you, yeah. So they've all gone through Master Guide and we've enjoyed it.
Should we have like a requirement to be on the podcast? You need to be
Oh, but
You
we
need to
can't-
have gone through Master Guide, yeah? Yeah. I'm
It
telling
feels a
you.
bit exclusive.
Yeah, it's an exclusive podcast, isn't it?
Ooh.
Boy. No. We're not gonna narrow your guess, you know. Yes. But yeah, so it's been a really blessed time being involved in pathfinding. And so even with Master Guide, so sometimes what you get is, you know, you how can I put it? You know, Jemima was very much involved in the NSC delivery of Drule March, and we were blessed to have her come.
wonderful teacher, isn't she?
Very wonderful teacher, and you know, personally, my personal observation when Jimmy was involved, the standard and of the drill really went up within the NSC. So, you know, fair plays to you, my dear. Yeah, give you props for that. And you know, we saw all of that evident in when she was delivering the drill and march within the Master Guide classes and all that stuff. And I loved it. You know, the candidates loved it to a point that I was involved as well. Just like you see when you were delivering that session on there, I was part of it. One of the things that does kind of disappoint me sometimes is that as leaders, we tend to step back, you know,
true.
when our young people are going through some training. So I could be, you know, somebody could be delivering a drill and march session to a club. And then the teachers will stand on the side and whatnot and not get involved. And for me, I'm like, no, you have to also get involved. There's nothing to say that drill and march or drumming is just for the young people.
Yeah.
Because your skill set also has to be at a level where you can continue to empower the young ones in your own local club to do. And if you don't get involved, how are you going to learn it? You know, so yeah. So it bugs me when I see some of our leaders not being involved in drilling and marching and whatnot. But for me, I always want to be involved. That's why you'll see me in the midst of it and things like that. And yeah, I'll continue to do so. And, you know, sometimes obviously our drill teams, they're not always available whenever we have Master Guide and things like that. So having that knowledge to be able to do drilling and marching allows us to be able to continue delivering that to the candidates in the absence of our main team and things like that.
Yeah, and I think you make a really good point there because one thing is that your example can speak so much louder
Yeah.
than your words.
Yeah,
And you know,
yeah.
for you in your position, particularly
Yeah.
as one of the master guide associates,
Yeah.
like that speaks volumes.
Yeah,
That,
yeah.
even the people running the course are
That's
still
it.
getting involved,
That's it.
which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Indeed.
And I think also just the, I guess, ability to spread more of that drill knowledge.
Yes.
And it applies to
Yes.
drum as well. But
Yes.
the more people that know, the more
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
that can get to know through
Yeah.
what gets shared.
Yeah, yeah.
You're a media man as well.
Yes.
And at a lot of events that NEC Pathfinder
Yeah.
or even just around the world, you want to
Yeah.
capture it. And there's been a lot of times where we've been doing parades and Mancini has just been there.
Oh, yes.
And I'm
Yes.
like, we're about to go
I'll
that
tell-
way, but then you're always just nifty
You
with
know,
standing in the right place at the right time.
That's a good one. So I like to watch drill and march videos. But what frustrates me sometimes is when you marching a drill and march video, you watch it for like, I don't know, 10 seconds and you just getting into it, boom, gone. And you're like, where's the rest? Yeah.
I can see it on your face.
Yeah. I'm like,
distress.
seriously, I'm like, where's the rest? I want to see the rest. Yeah. And so I've taken it upon myself to document some of the drilling and marching and the drumming that the NEC drill and drum corps do and their main events by actually recording it from start to finish, uninterrupted. And you would have seen that.
Yeah, we
That's
use
what
it in
I
some
do.
of our videos.
Yeah.
Exactly. And for me, that's what I enjoy. I want to see it from the start to the finish. Give me an opportunity. If I find it boring, yeah, let me cut it. But you never know. I might find it exhilarating. I want to see the rest of it. Just like the people who were there at the time. And that's what I do. But obviously, it does mean that sometimes you might get in the way, of some things in some way. But what I tend to do is to try and anticipate, the path that the teams are going to be taking. Sometimes I'll get a brief from them. I'll say, what kind of routine are you guys going to be doing? And if they're going to be doing something, snazzy and whatnot, I'll make sure that I'm there ready for it, because I love fancy drill. I can't fancy drill to save my life, but I love fancy drill.
Yet.
Yet.
Oh,
Boom, boom.
that was nice.
Yeah, because I'm open to learning it. Open to learning it. And so, so I do enjoy taking and shooting those videos. Simply, one, for the benefit of the drill and drummers themselves, because when you do such a presentation, you want to be able to then look back and see whether did you smash it, did you do it well? And as much as people will say, oh yeah, you did very well, Tyrese,
We know what we're talking about.
yeah, I'm looking for specific things.
Yeah.
You might look for specific things. You might look for specific things. And what's important to you is not important to Jemima, and Jemima is not important to you. And by being able to capture the whole thing, you can then review it and be like, no, I did well on this, or we made a boo-boo on this. Let's correct that, fix that, do some practice and things like that. And I've got videos where the drill and drummers have done a session, like for instance, I don't know, say ABE, PBE, you'll have two sessions, one in the morning for ABE and one in the afternoon for PBE. And then they'll do the ABE one, and then they might make a mistake here and there. They will say, oh, no, we want to correct that. And then they'll redo the same thing, but in the afternoon, and they'll absolutely smash it. And so for me, I'll then obviously highlight the one where they did very well, because there's no point in showing mistakes if they actually have been able to correct it and then make it look good. So.
And it's nice to hear from the videographer's side,
Yeah.
because we've heard these stories from
Yeah.
previous guests as well.
That's it.
So
That's
you're
it.
definitely a main source. of,
I enjoy them. And, one of the things as well, with doing what I do, and I'm sad that I didn't capture it for the World Pathfinder Day, because I was involved with the investiture. I was busy doing investiture stuff, misspelling Tyrese's name on the certificate, you know what I mean? That took a lot of my time, so I didn't get to capture that, but nonetheless, I think other people were able to capture.
From what did you not capture Adam and his mace stuff?
So I did. So what I didn't capture was during the hall.
Yeah.
You know, the ceremony during the hall.
Oh,
but
okay.
then we went out to the community,
parade one, yeah.
and that's the one that I managed to capture. And you know, who was driving on that van? I can't remember who was driving. I think Jedi John was in there, and Helderberg was in there somewhere. So Clyde Facey was driving a van, and I recorded the parade when they were leaving the complex, and man, some of these drillers, they're doing so well and leading the whole parade, you know. Big up people like Lauren and all that stuff.
That's the first person that came to mind.
Yeah, she did so well, man. You know, so it's so nice when you see the improvement and the transition in the work that the Pathfinders are doing, and they're doing such a sterling, amazing job. So, you know, I'll record them obviously leaving the complex and whatnot, and then you record all the way up until the very last person leaves, and then now you find yourself, you're at the back of the parade. You're like, okay, I want to get to the front. How do I get there? Now I've got one leg. There's no way that I'm gonna be running to the front. You know,
you got to put a warning or something. You can't just throw that in there.
about one leg. Listen, man, we have to accept disability as a normal everyday conversation.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I've got no qualms about talking about my one leg, you know.
We can see that.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that. And I know
Absolutely.
one of our viewers out there, hopefully
You know what?
they're touched by that.
I did think about wearing shorts today. And I thought, let me keep it, subtle for Tyrese, Don't want him to get like all excited and whatnot, you know what I mean? With my pins out, eh? But yeah, so I found myself at the back of the parade. I'm like, okay, how do I get to the front? And I saw Clyde driving a van that they used to support the parade.
Yeah.
So man jumped into it, and I said, "To Kingston," or to those from Bulawayo, "To Bulawayo, Pumla Easter, Sambeni, let's go." So I'll jump on it, and you'll get to the front, and then I'll get off there, and then I'll manage to capture them as they're coming again. And that's how I managed to capture the drummers, which included Adam doing his little. Yes. And I very much enjoyed that, you know.
It's
And
entertaining.
Yeah. And I said, "David, you're so stiff. What's wrong with you? Look at Adam." Yeah. So anyway, I think David is just trying to.
I've got to give David his credit where it's due.
Oh,
I
David
never
has
knew what to do with my mace. He taught me how to use a mace first.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He's done a great job. No, seriously,
Yeah,
David,
big time.
I'm super proud of you, bro. Keep up the good work. Yeah. I'm just saying how we can improve. There's always room for improvement, And so that's how I managed to capture the team and all that stuff. And then obviously you're backing up and using a gimbal to give you a bit of a balance and all that stuff. It's great, One time I went bang into a lamppost, but
The price we pay on the
it's
job.
the price we pay on the job
No,
straight
for
away.
real. No, I love that for you. And for me, it raises a question of whether more drill and drum entities ought to have official videographers to capture what they're doing.
I agree. No, I totally agree. There has to be an official videographer who is tasked to be able to capture those moments that normally we wouldn't be able to capture on the sidelines. Listen, every Tom, Dick, and Harry has a camera these days. Every other person has got a gimbal now, and they can record whatever they want to record. But you want that recording to be done in a way that's non-invasive to the drillers and the drummers, but at the same time be in the midst of it as well.
Yeah.
Because all of that makes a difference. it would be amazing if we could use something like a drone indoors, that could capture that, but also there's a health and safety element to it as well, and laws as well. You have to abide by the laws and all that stuff. But take away that, then you can still achieve it by using, a dedicated individual that can capture these moments for the drillers and the drummers, because I'll tell you now, they will appreciate that being recorded and made available for them. But also, they have parents, they've got guardians, they've got friends who also wants to celebrate their success and enjoy, the great work that they do.
We can't forget the podcasters out there as well.
Absolutely.
Who also just wanted to get a little bit of
Yes, absolutely. I'm trying to think of a popular podcast out there, more than Drill and Drum. One that comes to the top of my head.
Drill, drum,
more,
something like that.
something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely it's important to get that visibility out there. And if you think about it, if I want to learn about something, where do I go these days?
YouTube or something. Yeah, definitely.
I'm telling you, we use YouTube even for our professional resources and things like that. If I want to do some training, say with my local club, and I want to do, say, a bit of fancy drill, where am I going to learn that fancy drill? On the internet. And what resources am I going to use? YouTube or similar, Vimeo or whatever, other platforms available. But what I'm saying is, somebody would have taken time to do that recording and then make that available. And, we know of good clubs out there like Orion, from what? The internet. Somebody take time to record all of that. And then you get the honor of actually seeing them live in Wyoming. Yes.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. If you haven't been to the International Camporine, you need to plan
go.
for 2029. That's when the next one is. Tickets are available.
Indeed, the theme is Stand Strong.
Absolutely.
So with the passion that you're talking about, Gerald,
Yes.
do you see it as a ministry?
Yes.
Why?
That's a very good question. But I think sometimes when we think of ministry, we think of, we're going to get people to repent and baptize themselves and get themselves baptized and things like that. But I think what I think of within ministry is, do I exhibit Christ in what I do, which allows people to be able to then inquire more about either what I do or what drives me, and then I lead them down to the root of my encouragement. Some people they ask in terms of like, how do I continue to have a certain element of how I view life in such a positive manner, despite having gone through some, disability and things like that. I say it's all up here, seriously. But take away that, for me, it's my faith that provides me with the grounding to know that things don't just happen for no reason. Everything happens for a reason. The Lord wouldn't put a challenge that I can't deal with, that he can't help me to be able to deal with and overcome and things like that. So for me, it's like there will be no challenge out there which I'll never be able to overcome. I'll be able to overcome. I may not be able to overcome it in the manner that I wanted to, but the Lord will be able to bless me and give me the tools, give me the wisdom, give me the skill set to be able to overcome whatever's come my way. And so for me, that faith, the belief in the Bible, belief knowing that there's a God who continues to look after us when we're sleeping and when we're awake, is what encourages me to be positive in life and know that just because I've lost a leg doesn't mean it's the end of life. No, I actually say it's a different chapter, fam. See it that way. And it saddens me that sometimes that when I go to my peer groups, amputee peer groups, you get people that then get depressed, and for them they see that the way they view it is that it's the end of life and things like that, and that's what I'm saying. It's all up here. It's all a mental thing, but I trying to be an encouragement, to positive influence to them, to show them that it's not the end of life, but actually it's the start of a different way of doing things. And so for me, yes, I see my disability as a way to be able to utilize my drill and drum as a ministry in what I do. Some people, they then not second guess, but they'll wonder, how are you able to do drilling and marching, with a disability? But it's all in you yourself, in whether you want to be able to achieve it or not. Normally, I think when people don't have normal physicalness or whatever, they get told, "Oh, you stay out of that one, stay in the slack."
Yeah.
No, we need to encourage even our disabled pathfinders, disabled adults, leaders, that just because you're not like the next person next to you doesn't mean that you're not able to do something as well. I'd rather you fail while trying than to fail to try at all, that kind of stuff.
I really like what you've shared there. For somebody who's listening, who maybe has a similar story to yours, but can't quite envisage how they could drill, can you give us an image of how you actually drill?
Yeah. So the way I go through my drilling and marching is that there are some turns or maneuvers that I might not be able to achieve like other people. So for instance, if I'm doing, I don't know, say I'm just doing literally a normal march, so when you're marching normally, you want your foot, where possible, to be as parallel to the ground as possible. With my prosthetic leg, I can't do that. But you don't let that stop you. So you still do what you can, even though your foot is pointing up and all that stuff. You still do what your physical body will allow you to be able to do, but at the same time trying to achieve that turn or maneuver as best as possible. Simple things like if we're doing say left turn by the numbers, I'll do left turn by the numbers 1. The numbers 2, I'm gone. Why? Because by numbers 2, I need to then balance on this leg, which has no balance whatsoever. So I'm like, all right, I'm out. So you then forever trying to balance in that, but you don't let that stop you. Because the way I said it to the Pathfinders today was that, listen, don't think of it as I'm doing something wrong. No, think of it as we're just learning together. So don't see it as being a negative thing, but see it as a opportunity to improve, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I have loved to see in drillers is people just do their best. We just want you to be your best.
Correct.
And that best can look different for different people.
Yeah.
There might be some people for whom that best looks very similar.
Yeah.
But it's fine if your best looks different.
Correct.
Because we just want you to be the best you.
Yeah. Even when you do things like drill down, there might be a maneuver that they call that I can't perfect. And I will be pulled out for that. But I won't let that sit with me as being like, oh, I've done bad and whatnot. I just realize my limitation and know that, I got pulled out simply because of my physical limitation. But it doesn't mean that I can't do anything else, that kind of stuff. And practice and practice and practice makes perfect. Okay.
So I just want to say thank you, Mancini, for being on the podcast. Insightful words.
I feel blessed. I feel privileged to be in the presence of these superstars here. These judges, and just podcasters. And
Thank you.
it's an honor. Thank you for the invitation. And it's nice to come and have a chin wag with you guys.
And I do hope everything that you've said, our viewers have taken it in and that they are affected in a positive way. So thank you again.
You're welcome.
And so that brings us to the end of this wonderful episode.
Make sure that you like, you comment, and you subscribe.
And check out the other videos here on our channel.
We'll see you next time on
More Than
Drill and Drum.
Drill and drum, and more than I mean, that's like there's a little choreography going on with the hand action. I'm like, oh, okay. I want to be part of that.
At the end.
I felt the cough coming. I was like, hold it, man, saying it. Hold it, hold it, hold it.
If you do need to cough, just let us know.
Yeah.
We don't want you dying.
You know what I mean?
Man's just swallowing the
Man's
cough.
turning blue, you know, like sitting on the sofa. I am being professional.